You guys never had any bombing raids or anything like that, did you?
Hmm?
Did you have bombing raids or any of the air sirens going off?
Lots of them.
Really? How often?
Hmm?
How often would they go?
Every other night, and one night 4 times. Went 4 times.
Really?
And get out the house and go out into the garden and down into the air raid shelter. The government had supplied most families with air raid shelters. They called them Anderson shelters.
Yeah.
They were 2 pieces of corrugated iron hinged at the top, and sometimes it'd be the one we had 4 pieces, so it was a fairly small thing, maybe no more than 6 foot square, half sunk into the ground, buried in earth, with a great big barrier up in front of the door. No heating, no toilet facilities, nothing in there. So we had to get out of the house, get some clothes on as best we could, and hustle out and stay in there till the all clear went out. Moved off.
How long did that last?
Oh, indefinite, depends how many bombers were coming, where they were going, and things like
So
that.
Were the bombers actually going over top?
Yeah, they were heading for Glasgow and Clydebank and all these steelworks around Coatbridge.
Oh, okay.
There was one night that was interesting. Sirens went off 4 times that night, so we're out to the shelter, back in again, and just back into bed, and then siren would go again, out to the shelter. And I remember the 4th time it went off, we had a terrible time getting my brother Tom out. He wasn't going to go out again. It was a lot night. Eventually we did drag him out that night and went back in again. When I was going to school, we had to carry gas masks all the time with us, as well as our school bags. We had a gas mask over our shoulder, and we'd have evacuations from the school. Usually about 5 kids from a class would go out to various houses around the area. People who had homes in the area were set up as to look after students when there was an air raid.
Mm-hmm.
So we evacuated so quickly as possible. Everyone knew exactly which home they had to go to and get in.
Oh, really?
And tended to be a lot of fun, those drills, because the lady of the house always gave us milk and cookies when we got there. So,
How long did it take for you guys to clear the school?
I don't know. It couldn't have been very long. 10 minutes maybe, clear the whole school. And the houses were in the neighbourhood, so probably no more than 200 or 300 yards from school.
How far was Glasgow from Coatbridge?
I was about 10 miles to the outskirts, maybe 12 to the centre of town, and the shipyards would be about another 2 miles on the other side of that.
So you could hear this stuff actually going off? The bombs and that?
You You could hear the guns firing
From the ground up?
from the ground up. You could hear the guns firing. And of course, they had the defences were mostly series of what they called barrage balloons, which were helium filled, I think helium filled and hydrogen filled. Big balloons, something like the airships that you see today.
Mm-hmm.
They were tethered to the ground with ropes, wires, and the idea was that a bomber coming over at night might fly into one of these things, sort of strategically set up.
And what would they do?
On the bombing path. So,
And because they're filled with helium, would they ignite or?
pardon?
Oh, because they're filled with helium, would they
No,
ignite or
because-
just?
Because the wires would slice through the aircraft's wings.
Oh, okay. Huh.
That was the general idea.
Yeah.
So that was about.
And you were how old when that was going on?
Oh,
Like 6 or?
no, I was 9 when the war started, so this would be around about 1940, 41, 10, 11, 12, 10
Mhm.
to 12.
And then Tom enlisted at the very end of the war?
Yeah, he was called up towards the end of the war. I think he was probably called up in 43 or 44.
Oh, really? And did he actually serve?
Hmm?
Did he serve?
Yeah, he served and was posted over to Germany, but I think by the time he got to Germany, armistice had been, not armistice, the Germans had surrendered, but there was an occupation force in Germany for a long time. He was part of that.